Okay, so let's talk about the QuickBooks Unrecoverable error. If you're here, you've probably seen it, and you know it can stop you dead in your tracks. It's super frustrating, but you should know it's one of the most common issues out there. The good news? We're going to walk through a really clear plan to get you back up and running.
Right? It's that feeling of everything just locking up when you're in the middle of something important. It's so disruptive, but look, it is almost always fixable.
So what exactly is this unrecoverable error? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. QuickBooks just suddenly crashes, closes down, and you're left staring at your screen wondering what just happened. If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place.
Here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at the error message itself. Then we're going to figure out what's causing it. After that, we dive into the actual fixes, your first aid kit. And finally, we'll talk about how to stop it from happening all over again.
All right, section 1, that dreaded error message. The most important thing to remember when you see it, don't panic. We've absolutely got a plan. So when this error pops up, you're going to see a long, kind of scary-looking string of numbers. But here's a little secret. You can pretty much just ignore them. Seriously, the solutions for these random-looking codes are almost always the same. So don't get stuck trying to figure out what they mean. Okay, moving on to section 2. You know, to really solve a problem, it helps to understand why it's even happening in the first place. So what is actually happening under the hood when QuickBooks decides to crash on you? What's the real trigger here? Well, it usually boils down to a few main things. Sometimes the problem is with your data itself, like a corrupted company file. Other times, it's the QuickBooks program. Maybe something went wrong with the installation. And then there are outside forces, like an unstable network connection, a power flicker, or even another piece of software that's not playing nicely with QuickBooks. And now for section 3. This is where we roll up our sleeves. Think of these next few steps as your QuickBooks first aid kit. These are the go-to solutions that honestly fix the problem for most people.
But wait, before you click a single thing, please do this one step first. Create a backup of your company file. I'm serious. This is the most important thing you can do to protect your data. If anything goes sideways with these fixes, you'll have a clean, safe copy to fall back on.
All right, our first fix is often the easiest and, believe it or not, super effective. What this little trick does is it tells QuickBooks, hey, just open the main company file. Don't worry about all those other reports and windows that were open last time. Sometimes that's all it is. One funky window is causing the whole program to crash. Just hold down that Alt key when you click Open, and don't let go until your file is all loaded up. Next up, we need to play detective. We have to figure out if the problem is with your specific company file or if it's a problem with the QuickBooks program itself. We can figure this out with a really simple test using a sample file, and it'll tell us exactly where to focus our energy. And here's how you do that. This time, you're going to hold down the CTRL key while you launch QuickBooks. Keep holding it until you see the No Company Open window. From there, just pick any sample file. If that file opens up just fine, boom, you know the problem is with your company file. But if the sample file also crashes, well, then QuickBooks itself needs a little TLC. Now, if that test tells you the problem is with the program, don't worry. Intuit has created a fantastic utility for this exact situation. Let me introduce you to your new best friend, the QuickBooks Tool Hub. It's a special app designed to automatically find and fix a ton of common QuickBooks issues. And using it is super straightforward. Just download it from the official QuickBooks website, install it, and open it up. You'll see a section called Program Problems. Go in there and click Quick Fix My Program. Let it do its thing and then give QuickBooks a restart. It's amazing how often this one tool solves everything. Let's move into section 4. So what happens when the error isn't random? What if it pops up every single time you try to do a very specific task? Well, those situations need a more targeted fix. Do any of these look familiar? Yeah, the error loves to show up when you're importing changes, trying to reconcile your bank accounts, or working with PDFs. If your error is tied to one of these actions, we need to get a little more specific. Let's focus on a really common one. If QuickBooks crashes every time you try to look at a previous bank reconciliation report, the problem is very often not QuickBooks at all. It's actually a conflict with an old version of Adobe Reader that's failing to display the PDF report correctly. You've got 2 ways to fix this. The best solution, hands down, is to just update your Adobe Reader to the latest version. That usually solves the whole thing.
But if for some reason you can't update, you can just go into Adobe's Preferences, find the Internet section, and uncheck the box that says Display PDF in Browser.
And for our final section, let's talk about prevention. Now that you know how to fix the error, let's figure out how to stop it from coming back in the first place.
You know, your system will often give you little clues before a big error happens. If you start noticing QuickBooks getting sluggish, if it freezes for a few seconds, or if you see it crashing during specific tasks, like the ones here, don't just ignore it. Those are the early warning signs that something's not quite right.
And this all comes back to the most important takeaway of this whole explainer. The absolute best defense is a good offense. And in this case, that means regular backups. Having a recent, clean backup of your data is your ultimate safety net against, well, pretty much anything.
Look, fixing this error is a fantastic first step, but maybe think of it as a bit of a wake-up call too. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Beyond just fixing today's problem, what's one thing you could do this week to make sure your financial data is truly secure and healthy for the long run?